Hey everybody, Justin Worden, and you're watching What's New in Electronics. We are here at IPC Apex in Anaheim, California. It's 2024, man. This show is buzzing. How you doing, man?
Hello, mate. Good to meet you, Justin. And yeah, it show's really good.
Yeah, well, it's great to meet you. This is Dave Bennett with Bentec. Man, you flew quite a ways to get over here.
Yes, I did. It's certainly, yeah, come all the way from the UK, so it's not a short hop.
It isn't, but it's a fun flight. It's always fun to come over to the West Coast, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've got so many friends over here, so it's a great way to catch up.
Well, you've been in the industry for a while, so most people watching already know what Bentec does. But for the few that don't, why don't you introduce them?
Well, Bentec is primarily a distribution company in the UK. We sell Mirtec is our sort of flagship product line, but we do complete line and some consumables. For example, we do things like the Roca paper rolls, and one of the things that we are probably best known for is recruitment and management of reps, which is a bit unique because I think we're the only company that do that. And what I mean by that is we've got reps that work with us in America, Canada. We've got reps that work with us across the whole of Europe. I think there's 16 now in Europe, and we've got reps in India and South Africa as well.
You know, that's so interesting, and might be a little bit of a curveball for you, so I apologize, but it seems like the rep industry as a whole is kind of changing and going away. Like young kids aren't coming out wanting to get into the rep industry.
You're very, very true to say that. But the main thing for us is I'm dealing with distributors more than reps. And the main difference with a distributor is they tend to be able to supply and service and support. And that's pretty much Europe, India. Whereas in the US, you tend to have rep companies, often one-man band, and it's a relationship and introduction business rather than the distributor side. But we work with both.
Yeah, and you know, we can go back and argue about pros and cons of both. And I think you and I see eye to eye on that. But you know, the one key word you mentioned is service.
Yeah.
And that's really where it is. I mean, I come from a capital equipment background, and the first question I get is, how far away is your service team?
Yeah, exactly. And the other big driving force for distributors across Europe and why that tends to be a requirement, which a lot of the manufacturers trying to break into Europe don't understand, of course, is language. You know, there's about 25 languages across Europe. And it's all very well that people say, oh yeah, but they all speak English. Well, the top guys do, but it ain't going to be the top guy running your machine. And someone's got to teach him. And that needs a local who can speak the local language, whether it's Hungarian, Romanian, Lithuanian, whatever it might be. So distributors are vitally important. I know the territory size is about the same as the US, but predominantly you guys all speak English. You know, so it's not the same problem. You go to Europe and within an hour of driving, you could be in a country talking a completely different language. So the distributor model works for the European market. It's not something that's ever really caught on over here. It's more the rep and then the manufacturer follows up. That's more what happens.
You know, that's very interesting. I think that's just that whole like American thing, right? You know,
yeah.
Sorry, I'm one of you. But anyways, getting back to David at Bentec, that's not all you're working on. You got some other new stuff coming out. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, one of the most exciting things is that we've just partnered a British company, a company called Bentec, and they have a range of products called Prey. And they've just launched a model which is a UPI, which is a Universal Product Inspector. And what that tends to be used for is looking at final assemblies and large parts, such as batteries for power tools and things like control boxes where you want to look at the graphics. Again, going back to languages, if you're going to ship it to China, it's no good if it's all printed in Hungarian on the operating on the back of the unit, for example. So most of this at the moment, as far as we can tell, is still being done by humans with tick sheets. Now, when you think that the boards that are inside many of these products have gone through a very tight quality control process with MES data going into big servers so they can show their customers how well it's been checked, and then when the product's actually ready to go, it then gets checked by a human with a tick sheet, and every company's probably still doing that. The UPI takes that variation away, and it also allows the information that the machine finds about each product to be held in the quality store, again in the MES system. So we're getting some really interesting projects, one being as diverse as perfume bottles. Yeah, you know, perfume bottles in France, and to the extent where we're actually using special sensors and we can tell if the mix of the perfume is real or counterfeit. So that's one strange one, nothing to do with our industry, of course, but that's where the UPI is such a unique product. It's not tied to any one industry. Mechanical companies, anybody that's got any type of product that needs to be checked before it gets shipped. And that covers anything from gaming consoles, controllers, and mobile phones, anything. And as I say, at the moment, they're nearly all being done by hand. So
wow. You're kind of just dipping your toe in a lot of different areas right there.
yeah.
You know?
I mean, the reps are very excited. I spoke to a rep yesterday, and he immediately said that in his country there was one massive company who are a manufacturing giant across probably 5 different industries, and he said this is something that they would have, they'll rip your arm off for it, and I'm saying, go for it, go do it, because
That's fun. It's funny you bring that up because I have the pleasure of interviewing quite a few people, and a lot of it is the manufacturers of the equipment, and out of demand. Their technology is improving, data, AI, all those type of things. But on the sales and distribution side, I don't come across many people that are kind of diving in to the intelligence side of things like you guys are.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing as well, it can be used in different. It doesn't have to be final assembly, or it can be parts inventory. As you're taking your parts in, it can check to make sure that your supplier has supplied you with quality product. So, I think this is a product that's going to go really well. I mean, every distributor and every rep we've spoken to sees it right away. They look and they all say, I have so many customers. I have so many people that I know have got 20 girls sat down with tick sheets, or an old guy who's been doing it for 20 years and he wants to retire, or whatever it might be. So the UPI seems to have come at it just the right time. And there's an inline version as well. We've had a company approach us about doing high volume batteries for things like power drills and what have you. And they want to check various things on the battery itself, like polarities and, again, language instructions, safety details. And they want to do almost like a non-stop. So the UPI at the moment is a bench top. So you load it, unload it. It takes about 4 seconds to do 60, 70 different tests. So it's really fast. Looks at the top and the bottom at the same time. And then, of course, all the data gets sent to the MES. But this customer doesn't want people loading it. He wants it going through in line. So we've got an inline version, which is going to be delivered shortly. And we'll be doing sort of 9, 10 batteries at a time, where they're doing one in like 60 seconds. We'll be doing 10 in like 5 seconds.
Wow, that's I kind of want to work with you on that
I know,
project.
I know.
That sounds fun. But we definitely, you've got me intrigued. I want to catch up with you more about this offline, and you probably intrigued a lot of viewers here. So those that want to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
If you go onto the Bentec website, which is www.bentec, BENTEC-INT for international.com, there's a whole section devoted to the Prey product, and there's a lot more coming from Prey. It's not just the UPI. There's some very, very clever innovation, and I'm very proud to say it's a British manufacturer. We haven't had someone in our industry manufactured in Britain new for decades. So really pleased to have something that we can say this has come from our side of the pond.
Well, congratulations, Brandon. Congratulations to all the success. David, thank you very much for your help.
Thank you very much.